Welcome back, my fellow foodies and foodettes. I promised you that I would share everything that I learned from my trainers, and I'm very lucky because I have truly wonderful trainers and very professional trainers, and they have structured a 25-week training program for me. So this is what you see on this chart. I was just sketching it a few minutes ago. So let me take you back in time, 10 to 15 minutes, and draw this again with you so you understand what I have learned and you understand how we are structuring the training that we are going to do together. So let's do that. Okay, so we know that we have 25 weeks to get prepared. This is our time span. And at the end, we are going to slay the beast. Yes, this is where it is, and this is where we are going to be heroes. Now, if you don't know what the slaughter of the beast means to you, please go back to my previous post and previous video to find it out. It's quite important that you know your personal target. Without that, it's quite hard to build a training program. There is another thing that is very important besides knowing your target, and it's also to know where you are now. So, before you start, please do a self-assessment. You want to find out whether you are a beginner, an intermediate, or an advanced athlete. And James from the Athlete Center in Oxford was very kind to put together a self-assessment training. So, once you've done your self-assessment, you can start the training. And of course, training means increasing intensity through the weeks. So this is approximately the direction that we are going to take. And on week 1, the intensity is fairly low. Week 2, the intensity is increasing. Week 3, the intensity is even higher. And then comes a very pleasant surprise, because on week 4, we are decreasing intensity. This is the week that we call the deload week. From time to time, you are giving some rest to your body and to your mind. Don't underestimate this. Recovery is an active part of your training program. Do not start next month without giving yourself a little rest. During the following months, the same pattern is repeated. So you have 3 weeks of increasing intensity and then 1 week of deload. So this is what the whole 25-week training program looks like, but let's zoom in. This is week 3, and you will have an endurance training on week 3, conditioning, strength and technique, and mobility. And of course, just like during a month, you have a resting week, you will have resting days as well in a week. What I was suggested by my trainers is to put the resting days before and after the endurance training, and it makes complete sense because endurance is the most demanding training. Conditioning training is going to be much shorter. A conditioning is approximately 30 minutes, 40 minutes, occasionally an hour. Sometimes we are doing it in teams, sometimes we are performing the exercises individually. Now, of course, this compared to the endurance training, which could be 3, 4, or 5 hours long, is much shorter, but also it's much more intense. And then comes the strength and the technique training and the mobility. Now, mobility is not only about stretches. Mobility is also about body awareness. For me, mobility is the most scientific element of the whole training program. This is where I learn the most about how my body is working, how my muscles are working. Okay? So, for example, in my training program on Tuesdays, I'm having an endurance training early in the morning. That is a long distance run. Then I'm resting during the day and resting during the next day, and next day evening, which is Wednesday evening, I'm having a conditioning training. Then Thursday, Friday is about strength and technique. Saturday is a bit of a rest with mobility, and then Sunday I have another endurance training where I'm combining running or biking with strength exercises. And then I take a rest on Monday and I start again with the long distance running on Tuesdays.